What's happening, guys? Kenny here again, and today what I've got for you is going to be a first impressions video. There's going to be no unboxing in this. I didn't have time to film the unboxing, so yeah, it's just going to go right into first impressions. I have had this knife now for about a day, and I did get to carry it one day, so I'll have some impressions about that as well. But knife I'll be talking about today, if you saw the thumbnail, you know, but it's the Hogue EX-01. This is the 4-inch version, and these are the aluminum scales. So this also comes in a version that's 3.5 inch, and I believe both versions come in a G10 scale version. Sorry about this light here, guys. It's just the time of day, and got natural light coming in the window. But yeah, this is definitely a knife I've been wanting to get in hand. Really been intrigued by Hogue with this last year and the way they've been responding to the whole HRC thing and just the testing in general. Just really standing behind their product. They sent the group a bunch of test knives, blades, and such to test and see how they perform. So I really like what Hogue's doing, stand behind their product. They're a US made company, so I wanted to support that. And in saying that, also, I've had Clint, who's my friend, we talk a lot, and Gerald, both talking about this knife a lot. Gerald's had his for a long time, and he seems to really love it. And then Clint got his recently, and he's been falling in love with it. So I was really intrigued by this knife. I really wanted to try one. I do like 154 cm. I do like button locks in general, so I wanted to check it out. And Clint kept comparing this to the Microtech SOCOM Elite, so I really wanted to check it out because you guys know I love the SOCOM. So in saying that, here we are, and here we go. My first impressions of the knife when it came out of box, just looking at the scales and stuff, the machining is done extremely well. They do a really good job. Everything's super crisp, clean lines. All the termination of the lines is done very well. All the the little idiosyncrasies between where the scales meet. It's not like perfect. Like I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's done really well. And they do chamfer the inside, like a lot of other knives, just to keep that seam pretty clean. And they do it really well. So overall, my impressions of like the fit and finish, I guess you would say, it's pretty stellar. Really happy with the finish on the handles as well. Kind of like that powder coat paint. I don't know what they use as their coating, but it's very well done. And it seems like it's going to hold up pretty well. Just like the Microtech, also the ProTechs. Like my ProTech Mordax. So I really have been happy with the powder coating I've seen recently. And this seems like it's going to be in that same ballpark. So really excited about that. The stone wash on the blade is done extremely well. And all the grind lines, everything seems to be terminated really well. Very even. The grind seems very even. Very well done. You guys can see that that polished secondary bevel, which seems to be hand sharpened. I believe that they hand sharpen their secondary bevels, which is a really nice touch, guys. If you look at this, you can actually see where the heavier, the lower grit. You can see the lower grit hitting the top there. I don't know if they use like a KME maybe, but these are definitely a more refined sharpening. This doesn't seem to be done on like a belt. Very nicely done though. And really happy with the overall fit and finish. Centering's like pretty much dead on. You guys can see there. And just overall, I really am happy with that. And then, of course, the action, guys. You saw that. Definitely flies out with the thumb flick there. You can also finger flick it. And you know, of course, slow roll it. These thumb studs seem to be done really well. I do think they get good grip and, you know, nothing unpleasant on the fingers or anything. Very well done. I like the way they did the thumb studs. But overall, I think the fit and finish and the way they finish out this knife is done extremely well. And the action is been really good for me. It definitely is very free dropping as soon as you disengage the lock. This is my example. I think Clint's was a lot stiffer, but this was like this right out of the box. So that was really nice. Although there is a little bit of side-to-side play here, and it's actually getting a little worse. So I'll probably be hitting this screw with looks like number 8 Torx. So I don't think this is a D pivot. So I believe I'll have to take the clip off and hold this side of the pivot in order to tighten it. But I'll probably try that right after I get off the camera. We'll see how that goes. But there is a little bit of side to side there, and no up and down, which is actually kind of surprising. Most of the time you get at least a little bit of up and down play with button locks, but this is like really solid up and down, just that little bit of side to side from the pivot loosening up. But really enjoyable action on this guy. I look forward to seeing how it is with the pivot tightened down, but I'm going to go ahead and bring out a few knives right now, and we're going to do a few size comparisons. I don't normally do this in first impressions, but I figured since I had it for a little while and I wanted to show you. Yeah, guys, there's the SOCOM. I wanted to just show you that size comparison there. They're really, really close. And of course the military, which is relatively similar size knife, although the military is larger. Yeah, so it is a big knife, guys. Don't get me wrong. Here's a Hinder XM 18. This is the 3.5 version. So you guys can see that the Hogue EX-01 is definitely a large knife, and it's, you know, this is what it keeps getting compared to by my friends, and I do see the comparison. Absolutely, it's big time. Very similar knife, very similar size, both aluminum handles. The fit and finish is very similar on these two knives. I think that the attention to detail and machining on both of these knives is done extremely well. Like just the way that everything, like the screws are all sunk into the handle, scales and everything, it's done extremely well. The machining is super clean. These are very, very similar knives, and I will be doing a comparison at the end. I'll be doing a comparison of the two knives. But in this, I'm not going to. And just real quickly, I'm going to talk about my use in the day I had it, the pocket carry and stuff. I'm fairly happy. I'm really, really happy with this knife, guys. I thought it was really comfortable in hand, and the little bit of use, you know, I put on it. Actually, I put quite a bit of quite a bit of cardboard cutting with it, and I was fairly surprised with how the apex held up on this 154 cm. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the ergonomics. On a knife this large, I do like having it tipped down. I know a lot of guys are gonna have an issue with that, but you do have the option of going tip up as well. So if you're that dead set on not having a tip down carry, you have that option to switch it. Although on a knife this large, I do carry it like this in my back pocket. So I like that clip the way it is. It seems to be pretty well done for ergonomics. I think this is a little large for in my opinion. I think this is a little large, and I think it does stick up just a little too much. But going in and out of the pocket, it was fairly easy with this ramp. I do think it could have been a little bit lower and maybe not popped up just a little bit too much. I think it does kind of hit the hand, but in use, I didn't really notice it. So it's not that bad. I don't think it's bad. What I do think they could have done better on this clip is, you guys can see where this sticks up. This clip just should kind of maybe go higher here, or I don't know how they could do this differently. Maybe do a loop over or something, so that it avoids this, because I did find myself getting stuck on the pocket, because this doesn't just have a lot of clearance up here, and then you have this as well, which kind of combats the knife going into the pocket at the very end. But that was the only thing I kind of noticed that I had to say negatively about the knife, was that. But it is definitely something to note, so I wanted to mention it. I do think that I mean, obviously I'm not doing a comparison right now, but I do think that this clip is much, much better. So I hope that Hogue does something about their clips, maybe changes the way it finishes here. Maybe do a secondary retention there, do something like that, because I do believe that it just needs to be just a little higher here so that it gets over that hump. But yeah, very well done anyways. Overall, I did enjoy carrying it. It didn't seem to be super heavy in my pocket or anything. I felt like it carried really well. I do think that when I take this knife out, for some odd reason, we know this is the same size as the Microtech, but for some odd reason, the Microtech just feels bigger, and I think it looks bigger to people. It's weird. I don't really understand why, but it might just be the aggressive blade shape and handle shape and everything. I'm not sure, but I do think that this seems a little more subtle. I don't know if that's just, just me, but definitely feels like really nice. And taking it out and using it, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the 154 CM held up really well. I'm going to go ahead and bring out some paper here. This is just normal printer paper. You guys will see. I did do quite a bit of cutting, and it still definitely has that paper slicing edge. I think it'll hold up a lot longer. And from what my buddies have told me, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced with 154 CM, strops back really well, and I think Hogue does a really good job with their 154 CM. This is that IKEA paper, so it's like that recycled paper. It's much thinner. Yeah, it's very, very nice. And even after quite a bit of cutting too, so very, very happy with that, that steel. Very happy with the way it's been refined, and I look forward to sharpening it and using it a lot more. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. I don't want to make this too long. I did pretty much say what I had to say for now. I will be obviously doing a hype versus reality. I don't think this guy is going to go anywhere. I think he's going to be around for a really long time, if not just part of the collection forever. I really do love the knife. It does have this, I didn't talk about that, but it does have this lockout for the button lock. Although I do think that where they place the button lock is in a really good spot. And I don't think you'd be hitting the button lock. You can even choke up here, and I don't think you'd hit the button lock there. But just very comfortable knife all around. So I'm looking forward to doing the hype versus reality on this. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found some value in this. Look forward to talking about it more, but today, I didn't say, but yeah, just real quick at the end, this is a Leishowitz, however you say it, design. I'll talk more about that in the hype versus reality, but again, thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys.